Yo, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. I'm Army Piper, and I don't have my scene set up at all, but that's okay. We got crypto bubbles here, guys. We're a little bit green on the daily. Market open the past hour. We have gone a little bit red. We're going to talk about that today. We're also going to be looking at some pretty interesting headlines. OC is back. I've got my OC back today, and of course, that means I got my mathematician back. We've dug into an article talking about some dollar cost averaging. So we're going to be taking a look at that stuff, guys. We're also going to be looking at what the dollar cost average, what they're saying. What do those numbers look like when we put that on a bigger time scale and we look at the past 4 years of Bitcoin, dollar cost averaging. What's the yearly performance been? What can we expect in 2025 based on what they're saying about the tech sector in 2025? So I put OC's brain to work. He's got it all broke down. We're going to be looking at that and a whole lot more today, guys, right here on the only show you need to know about. It's the Piper Academy Morning Market Report. Let's get it, guys. Class is in session. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. Got my new side cam. What do you guys think of that little side cam action there? Got the drop down screen. We're trying to make everything better for you guys. But I see Dave Brum below, and here we got the Brumblebee in the house. Dylan VA, BC Port Corp in here. Oops, wrong account. Good morning. He said there. Well, 𝐃𝐄𝐂𝐑𝐘𝐏𝐄𝐃, Alexander G, the mod queen is in here with us. Eric Wallen is in the house with Harp. And he said, let's do it. That's what he said. So good morning to everyone that's just now joining us, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. I am not alone today. I am not alone and unafraid. I'm here with my OC partner. Let's go, man. OC guy, how you doing, bro? Welcome back. How was your Christmas? How are you doing? Let's catch up for a minute here before we jump into all of this Friday data.
Absolutely. So my Christmas was pretty good. It was pretty simple. Was pretty happy. We did exchange of gift. We have a pretty wonderful dinner. And I'm not a big drinker, but this time I did a little bit, and it was great. It was great. I did not had a hangover, but surprise, I did caught the flu somehow. Yesterday was a little bit painful. My foggy mind, like also all nozzly today. But still, I got my medicines, my drugs, ready to go, ready to rock and roll, and I just finished up my electrolytes. So shout
You
out to
gotta be
electrolytes,
careful
man. They
when you
really
talk
help.
about. You got to be careful when you talk about drugs in Mexico, man. Federale
Yes.
might be at your door. Just all right, man.
Oh yes,
Well,
it
I
is.
hope you're feeling better. I hope you're feeling better. I'm glad you're here today. I'm glad you struggled through the flu to be here with me today. I appreciate you, man. We've done some math today, so we're going to be talking about that stuff here in a bit. But yeah, you definitely have crunch some numbers for us and to give us a perspective of what we can see in 2025. So you guys need to stick around for that. And we're going to go, I'm doing a little refreshing over here on all of the stuff, but then we're going to be jumping in and talking about the news in just a second. Give me 1 second. There we go. All right, let me move that over. OC is back, and now my normal game plan. Don't need to do it that way anymore. I'm back with the sidekick here. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump over into the news and let's talk about that, and then we'll be back. We'll take a look at Bitcoin's chart where we're at right now. So, shout out to Retro Mike Tech, by the way. He said, I thought that the only show I needed to know about was the nightcap. Cap. That's what I got to say about that Retro My Tech. RMT, much love to you, bro. Let's jump over here into the news, guys, and let's talk about this. So we are looking right now at a market cap on Bitcoin, or in the total market cap for crypto, I should say, 3.4 trillion. I wish Bitcoin was a $3.4 trillion market cap. Wouldn't that be amazing? There's my white line. $3.4 trillion right now in the market cap for crypto. Total volume in the past 24 hours up 5.7%. Let's jump over here, take a look at the dominance. 56.8% is what they're saying right now. CMC, Fear and Greed Index for the crypto market cap, 54. We're in neutral. We've left greed yesterday. We were in greed at 63 last week. Greed at 62 last month. Greed at 85, and we are moving closer into the light blue here, guys. About another 2 points, we will be into the light blue sector, which is pre-altcoin season. That is coming up. A lot of people thinking that altcoins are going to be the 2025 mover way more than what they are seeing on Bitcoin. So that's part of these articles today, guys. I'm telling you, there's a bunch of data we went through today. So, but we are getting close to coming back into pre-altcoin season here on the index for altcoin season. So jump over into these crypto bubbles and let's take a look here at the daily. We can see on the daily lots of upside again. Fart coin back in the charts again, right? That coin. BGB up another 14.8% also, guys. And yeah, it's been a crazy mover. If you guys don't know what BGB is the coin from BitGet. It is their BitGet token. So let's go down here and take a look. Bitcoin right now sitting at 95,786. Can I get a refresh on you, sir? Just to make sure. Yeah, 95,786 right now. Neutral. It's neutral on the day. It's not up. It's not down. Last hour, we did have a 0.5% drop there. Ethereum is at 3,359, up 0.1%. So right now, pretty mixed markets. A lot of the reason for that is stock market opening in the red right now and everything. Gold's even coming down. So we're going to go take a look at that stuff in a second. But right now, BNB is up 0.6%. Tron up 4.2. That's not bad. BitGet token, guys, crazy. Moving up another 3 spots to number 16, up 14.8%. And remember, BitGet is not really usable in the United States. They required KYC. So it kind of makes me wonder, like, are we starting to see a large surge in global crypto traders? Because I know, for a long time, the United States was the biggest player. We saw that with the trial going on with FTX. The reason that they did FTX.us and all that stuff was because, or Binance, I'm sorry, Binance.us and the trial with Binance, because there were articles about how much of the crypto investing pool was United States based. But BitGet showing us that they can be a fast, hard mover on the uptick there with a lot of volume behind a token that technically, allegedly, US do not even have access to. Yeah, let's move on here. HBAR down about 2.6%. Hyperliquid, Bitcoin Cash, Leo token, and Uniswap all to the upside. Uniswap leading the way out of those four at 5.6% to the upside. And that concludes the top 20 here, really. Any other big crazy movers in here that I'm seeing? Let's go look. Virtuals. Virtual is up 17.9%. A lot of our community has talked about that lately. Yeah, that's about it. That's about it that I'm seeing here on big moving. Brumbelow said, I have used Fartcoin as a prime example that anything that goes, anything goes in crypto with my family. I bought it in 4 day I bought in for 4 days and made 35%. It was quite the talk over Christmas. Interesting, man. Yeah, Fartcoin, dude. This, like, we want to be a professional asset class and people to take us seriously. And what do we get? Fartcoin. I'm just saying. Guys, enjoy the coffee. Enjoy the coffee. It's Friday. All right, let's jump over here and talk about the stock market right now. Let's give this a refresh. Make sure this is up to date. It is. Yeah, you can see here Dow Jones down 0.4% right now. S&P down 0.7%, and the Nasdaq is down a whopping 1.25%. That's a lot for the stock market, guys. Stock market seeing a lot of sell-off today. Small caps are getting the moves today, and it's interesting that we see Bitcoin neutral. A lot of altcoins, well, not a lot, but altcoins are the ones that are actually moving today in the market space. And Russell 2K is what's moving in the stock space, which is small caps, right? We are seeing the VIX, the volatility index, up 12.2%. And I said, when we see this green, it's not good for these, and that's typically not good for Bitcoin. So we'll take a look at what's going on with Bitcoin in a minute. We did get some data this morning here. Goods trades balance. This is based off of like the imports exports, right? Down 102%. We're expected it to be down 100.7 to $94 billion. It was down 102.86 billion. Previous was down 98.26. And was there a revision there? It looks like there was. U.S. trade deficit in goods widened to $102 billion in November, above market expectations of 100.7 after a downwardly revised, shocker, in the month prior. In advanced estimate showed imports rose by 4.5%. So largely due to higher purchase of capital goods. Consumer goods went up by 4.3, industrial supplies up by 1.1, automobiles up 4.96 there. Actually down, sorry, 3.2%. So let's go take a look at that. All right, retail inventories, excluding automobiles, actually up a little bit here. So inventories they're getting some supply in, right? Supply and demand, that is the real factor of inflation. But nothing major today, guys. Just some basic data coming in. None of it great. None of it's horrible either. Next week's going to be where we're watching. That's an ISM manufacturer on January 3rd, kicking into the new year with some data. So that's what we're going to be watching there. Let me go back over here. Let's go into this. Can you work for me? Thanks. And let's go in and check out what else I had in here. This is from the Kabisi letter. He said, "This is incredible." There we go. This is incredible. Total Bitcoin holdings of the largest crypto ETF, IBIT and MicroStrategy, hit a record 996,290 Bitcoin. MicroStrategy's Bitcoin holdings have doubled over the last few months, now standing at 444,262. Furthermore, IBIT has doubled its holdings since March to a whopping 552,000. As a result, these two names now own approximately 4.7% of the total Bitcoin supply. Bitcoin demand has never been stronger. And that's going to lead us into talking about this article here. We're going to talk about... No, sir. You are not allowed to come in here. I got a phone call coming in during my live stream. I don't even know what the hell's going on there. Bitcoin ETFs, MicroStrategy will spur a 3x jump in private Bitcoin transfers and transactions, according to analyst CryptoQuant's CEO 𝐃𝐄𝐂𝐑𝐘𝐏𝐄𝐃. Guys, it's not just these big guys. Private Bitcoin transactions using a process called CoinJoin have tripled since 2022 as a result of big Bitcoin accumulations, accelerating their purchases, right? MicroStrategy's ETFs, exchange traded funds for spot Bitcoin and custodial wallets. He said that they frequently use privacy transactions to transfer funds to new investors. A lot of people say that this is hackers that are washing their money there. He says not the case. This is also where custodial wallets, MicroStrategy, and ETFs are also doing their stuff. They pull inputs and outputs from several parties in a way that obfuscate who might own an unspent transaction output. He shut down the idea that CoinJoin transactions are mostly used by hackers to launder stolen funds, noting that Chainalysis reported $2.2 billion in hacking losses in 2024, which was only about 0.5% of Bitcoin's $377 billion in realized cap inflows. While publicly listed firms do have to disclose their holdings, Young Ju said there remain unidentified Bitcoin whales that have accumulated up to 420,000 Bitcoin worth over $40 billion. Who are these whales? Let's go back over here and talk about this. OC, we hear people all the time talking about, even I did at one point. I was like, right now is not a bad time to take some profit off the table and buy back cheaper, which I did. I sold around 63,000 to 61,000, and I bought back at about 53 to 55. No harm, no foul. But these guys are continuing to accumulate through it all, ups and downs, highs and lows. What are your thoughts on this? And does it bother you that these whales are getting such a large amount of control in Bitcoin too? Because controlling 4.7% of all the Bitcoin, that's a lot of Bitcoin, bro.
It does worry me, but it's gonna happen like as every single time in history has happened. I mean, the human race has not got to that point where we learn from our ancestors, right? And the majority of us kind of like do and follow the same call, right? What happened with gold? The same, right? What happened when fiat? The same, right? What happening with Bitcoin? The same, right? I mean, we just lower our guards and then we just buy the tops. Sorry, yes, buy the top, sells the bottoms, right? And who's there to buy it back from us? Well, big institutions think accumulation of people and industries that know what they're doing, and they just keep collecting it by themselves. So is it a necessary bad? I don't know. I really wish that we can kind of like a follow up along with Michael Saylor that has been saying bye, right? And hold it. Well, I know that a certain point of us or a certain group of us have been doing it, but for majority, I do not expect humanity change from one asset to another. I think that needs to be taught on schools. That need, I mean, financial education needs to be provided, right? Because it seems like by ourselves we just cannot find it, the black thread in or the black, like the needle in the haze. But other than that, is it worrying me? Yes, of course it does. Am I prepared for it? I cannot fight it. I mean, it's happening. It had happened. It will happen, right? So that's what I think.
Awesome. Yeah, I think it's a little bothersome for me, but at the end of the day, I also know that this is what we wanted. We wanted institutional adoption and institutional buy-in. They got a lot more money, man. They're going to buy what they speculate is going to bring them returns, and they're going to buy a lot of it. And that's what we're seeing there. So let's go ahead and jump into the Bitcoin chart. We're going to come back and talk about what we could be seeing right now. I've been projecting that we're going to see some more downside. I'm looking at like that CME gap down there at the bottom. So if we do get that downside, and I'm not the only one calling for it, I actually have an article about it today. What can we expect for 2025? Because we're pretty much closing in. Next Monday is like, I think Tuesday is the last day of 2024 next week. So we're closing in on 2025. What can we expect there? Shout out to BC Port Corp in the chat. He said, Piper, with the policy shifts going into 2025, do you think we'll start seeing certain sector bubbles deflate or pop? Actually, beautiful question, and we actually have an article about that. So we're going to talk about that in just a second. BC Port Corp. Let's jump over to the chart. Let's talk about Bitcoin on the 4-hour here. And what I'm seeing here, guys, these levels still in play. I put these out to the community. I talk about them every day. The support zone here, which is now a resistance zone. I actually need to turn you back to red. Let me do that right now. You're now a resistance box. Back to red. Thank you, sir. And well, what I said here was if we lose this, we got the no shit hold this zone. You guys could see perfect rejection there yesterday on the candle close. Right now, we are losing this level. We're trying to fight it, but it looks like we could be heading down to the, well, crap, it didn't hold level, which was our previous bottoms over here. I do think we're going to see a retest of this zone because we had a double bottom and it's already rejected back down to it. We're in range that direction, I should say. The trend is heading back there. But I actually think that we are going to see dips down to the $80,000, $77,000 range, which would be Bitcoin's last stand down here. That would be the CME gap. And that, again, if you guys have not seen it, if you're not here every day, you should be. You're missing out. But on the CME gap, guys, we do have an unfilled CME gap down here, $77,000. Keep in mind, we don't have to fill this. We had one back in 2021 that did not get filled until 2022. So let me go back there and find it. Let's go to daily. That probably would help a lot. There we go. We had one in 2021 here that did not get filled until the bear market of the crypto winter, going into the crypto winter there in 2022. So we don't have to refill this. No, if we don't, we can come back and do it later. It would make a nice floor for the next crypto winter. But I am watching for Eric Wallen, you're horrible. I am watching for us to return to that level. So looking at this and talking about this downside, you guys know where I stand. I think that we close the CME gap this cycle, go down there to Bitcoin's last stand. Of course, if I'm looking at this on the daily, we have a very powerful indicator on here that I use all the time, and that is this 3D trend tool. Should be coming out at the first of the year, if you guys are wondering. But you can see in bull cycles, when we're in bull cycles here, let's go back. You can see it. We tend to retest it numerous times, but overall, during the actual bull run, it's our support. It is our support. So many times when we touch this cloud, we'll continue to bounce up off of that. Even down here, we had this massive pullback from the peak here, January 2021, down to its bottom side here in January 2021, also end of the month. But that was at a 31% pullback. And where did it pull back into? The cloud. Again, the cloud right there, right? So looking at this, we could speculate. Mind you, we did have a break of it there, wick down and closed the candles in it. But that was the top of the cycle pretty much there for quarter one. And then we went in, came back up for quarter two, got supported again. What I'm going to be watching here for going into this cycle on the daily using the 3D trend would be this. Jesus take the wheel is down here, right? We do have this continuing trend here. That could stop us from going down and testing that CME gap. Also, to point out, the dynamic reactor running right along in here too, which is another key level that we get of support a lot of times. So I would say that $80,000 range could be the bottom that we head down to. And then when everyone is going, that's it, we're going to close the CME gap, it then tricks everyone and takes back off to the upside. And that is what I would be watching for there based on what I'm seeing on the daily. But yeah, my levels, guys, right now, looking at like 82,000, worst case scenario down to that CME gap. But let's go look at this article and then we'll get into what Bitcoin math OC did over there. So looking at this, that's not the one. There we go. Bitcoin analyst warns huge dump amid recovering stablecoin dominance. Bitcoin's failure to break through critical resistance levels has heightened the risk. Let's bring you up here with me, OC. Come on up. Hi, sir. Has heightened the risk of a potential decline towards 81,500. We just talked about that level. 82,000 is right where the 3D trend is sitting at. Also, right where we are seeing that dynamic reactor at on the daily. Bitcoin has declined by 15% a week after establishing the record high of around $108,365, according to data from Bitstamp. The cryptocurrency may fall further in the coming weeks due to sharply recovering Tether market dominance. So, stable coins, people, this is how the money flows. It comes out of crypto, out of Bitcoin, out of altcoins, sits in your USD Tether, and then once they're ready to buy, it's already on the exchange, on the chain, and they can just convert it right back in, do their purchases, right? So right now, a lot of money going in the stable coins. According to TradingView contributor, the Bitcoin price may witness a huge dump due to its negative correlation with the USDT dominance, a measure of Tether's share in the overall cryptocurrency market. Notably, the USDTD metric, the dominance metrics for USDT metric, shows signs of significant rebound after hitting support levels last seen in March. At that time, USDT dominance rebounded sharply from similar support near the 3.8% level. I don't think we need to read all this, but just don't trust it. This is a trap. Right after that spike, a huge dump is coming, and anyone who jumps in too soon could get wiped out. OC, let's talk about this because that's what I just talked about with that $77,000, right? Those traps. People think that it's going to be going lower the same way that they think that it's going to take off. They get in, they go, oh, I think this is the bottom. Let me buy in now. And then all of a sudden it pumps up a little bit more. And then they FOMO in, they ape in instead of dollar cost averaging. And then that price dumps on them and they get trapped up there at highs. But that same thing can happen on lows too, where you think it's going lower and you wait and you wait and you wait, and then it never hits that level, like $77,000 CME gap. We could get down to that 3D trend and the dynamic reactor on chart prime's Bitcoin chart. On the daily, it's like $82,000, 81.6, 82,000. That's what they're talking about going here. We could get down there and people go, it's going to the CME gap. And then all of a sudden it turns around, rebounds, heads to the upside. And now people missed out on the train. They're standing there on the tarmac with their bags, watching the rocket take off, right? Your thoughts on this? What do you think? What are you seeing on your chart? We can pull that up. You can talk about the low levels that you're seeing. But right now, I think that there's a lot of uncertainty, and DCA may be the topic of discussion here as we had on the thumbnail. But let's kick it over to you. Let's talk about, you can tell us what you think on all this and show us on the chart as you're doing it.
Absolutely. So I just say let's just trade this as it goes, right? I mean, remember that one of my targets and one of my most important targets are 500,000 Bitcoin, right? But we can only do that if we start hitting some tops, right? At that point, we also will need some retracements. So let's just once again, do not be moved by FOMO or food. Let's just keep going as it goes, right? So far we have broken below the dynamic reactors. So technically we're bearish. Something important, it is our money flow right here going lower. So let's just not go like too in depth in here. I'm gonna try to keep it simple. We have broken to the upside. Here we go. This trend line, and then look at that. I was waiting for a breakout retesting here. It did not happen. It went back down below the zero line in here. And as long as we are holding this trend line somewhere around 93,400, 93,800, I think we'll be fine as long as we can push back into the dynamic reactor. And that's why, because look at that, we are doing higher lows, right? Right, even if we get to 93.83, we're still gonna be making a higher low, right? So sorry for that breakery camera. It's my internet, like kind of like mess things up. And then as long as we also keep having those higher highs, well then in dynamic reactor keep going lower, I would say that yes, we could be going all the way down here for the first stages, and then breakout reaches, and off we go. We've seen that in the past. I mean, this is not a weird pattern playing out, just being below the dynamic reactor for a little bit before continuation. Once again, in here, being below the dynamic reactor for a little bit before continuation, and so on and so forth, right? So for me, there's nothing to worry about at this point. But I think you got a pretty cool article that right there, Piper, that talks about DCA, right? Because I mean, I might not be fully, I don't know, in accordance with that article, but it does has a point.
Yeah, and so, and I can see that. I can see the downside, coming. I just think that there's some other key levels there that are going to catch long before we get to um that $77,000 level. There's some really key support on the daily. But let's talk about dollar cost average, because that's the solution to this, right? We know that the solution to uncertainty is just a dollar cost average. There was actually an article when we were coming back up to all-time high that if you had bought 2021's all-time high and dollar cost averaged $100 a week every single week through the entire dump, the crypto winter, and back up, that you'd be up. It was pretty high number. I don't remember exactly what it was, but when you have the dips, that's the best time to be dollar cost averaging. If you dollar cost average on the way up, you're adding to your portfolio, but you're also raising your average cost. It's when you get those dips, that's the most opportune time to dollar cost average into Bitcoin. But a lot of people are saying right now that dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin might not be the thing in 2025, and that DCA strategy is over. So let's talk about this article here, and then we'll talk about the numbers and try to do a little bit of speculation for 2025, OC, with all of your nerd math over there that you've done. Let's break all that down in a minute. Is the Bitcoin DCA opportunity over? Here's what traders are thinking. So some crypto traders suggest that altcoins may be a better pick than Bitcoin at this point of the year, right? It's coming into the new year, though not everyone agrees. When Bitcoin dominance, with Bitcoin dominance back up almost 60% amid a price stall in the last few days of 2024, there's a growing belief among traders that it may be time to switch their accumulation strategy towards altcoins. Altcoins at this juncture offer a far more optimal risk to reward profile than Bitcoin does, according to pseudonymous crypto trader Dime in a December 27th X post. He said, "Time to DCA Bitcoin is over for the next 1.5 years." And I had a chat GPT do a quick breakdown on just summarizing this for me. But it says a Cointelegraph article discusses the perspective among crypto traders. Dominance nearing 60%. Dime there talking about that the next 1.5 years is not the time to dollar cost average into Bitcoin. However, not all analysts agree with this viewpoint. Kristen Smith, CEO of Blockchain Association, maintains that Bitcoin's upward momentum is ongoing and anticipates that its price could reach $200,000 before any potential decline to $50,000. Okay. All that being said, let's jump into check out this picture here, guys. Because what I did is I went ahead and I said, okay, we've got quarterly breakdowns here on Bitcoin performance for the past 4 years. I'll show you why in a second I did the past 4 years. But 2024 so far, Bitcoin is up 110.36%. 2023, Bitcoin was up 124.3%. 2022, that was the crypto winter, was down 74.98%. And then 2021 was up 93.27%. In the past 4 years, Bitcoin is up 240, we'll just round it up, 253%. Okay. Let's jump into this article because this is going to be the baseline of the analysis here, guys. Tech stocks. Let's talk tech stocks. If we can get a speculation on tech stocks, it's going to give us an idea of what we can expect for Bitcoin, because a lot of times Bitcoin does follow that tech world on the S&P and the QQQ, right? So tech stocks rolled 2024, but hopes for a big market rotation in the new year are uncertain. A lot of uncertainty, right? That's what we're hearing with the Bitcoin too. We're closing out 2024 with a bit more volatility than normal, but the overall trend remains up. To everyone who stops me on the street and asks me, why is the stock market up so much? I give a fairly simple answer. It's because the overall profits and margins remain near record levels. Talk about NVIDIA there, but I want to get down here and talk about the S&P growth, earnings growth. 2024 was up about 10.2% for the S&P 500. But when we look at tech, 2024 was up 20.1%. Here's what that 4 years and why I broke down that chart that I was showing you on Bitcoin, because 2021 up about 37.3. 2022 was flat. That was our negative 75% that I showed you on this chart here. There's the negative for 2022, 75%. But then we go into the 2023 up 9.1%, 2024 up 20.1. They are projecting that in 2025 that we will see an upside of the tech sector of the S&P at 21.1%. So based on this, if 2024 was up 20.1% and on Bitcoin we were up 110%, what can we glean on this for 2025 on Bitcoin? What is that looking like? And OC, you did all that math. Do you have that on a screen, or do you just want to talk it out? You got all the numbers there. Which one do you want?
Absolutely. I have the numbers right here on the screen. Perfect. Let's just take a look at them. So, really quick, just to take a look at this, is some estimates, right? And then we're not talking about market tops. We're just talking about market growth in the 2024 and 2025, right? There's a couple of ways to take this out. One of those are sequentially. And if we take a look at the sequential way to sort these numbers, the 2025 number is going to be lower, right? Just so you don't get a little bit scary in here. But it's just the way it goes. Why? Because we have a 124% and then a 110%. Therefore, sequentially, we'll have a 94.4%, right? So 96.4%. So basically, this is starting where we are at this point. If we just stop punching down, right, or just going through to the downside, we could be going all the way to 96.25% with a 21.1% estimate growth on the S&P 500. Let's just get this thing out of the way. And so sorry, let me just move it back. There we go. And that means that we could be reaching all the way at 187 for this upcoming year. If you ask me, that might be a little bit I don't know, low. We should be making too many ranges.
I pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
Yeah. But still, I mean, we cannot deny that this is a big rally, right? Then, if we do the other way, because there's like 5 ways to approach this issue, but the next easiest way will be just taking a look at the growth per year, and in this case, will be a 115th. Why? Because if we grew, and this is just basically taking the S&P at the main base, basically, if we incremented from 20 to 21.1, that accordingly to that money allocation, we are looking at a 115% growth in here, all the way up, right up here. And that will get us all the way till $206,853. Remember, this is the estimate for the growth of the next year. It doesn't involve market tops or nothing on that. That's another story. But also, Piper, you were talking about the correction on Bitcoin, right? I think you got it right there. It was a what percent? 70 something percent correction.
For which cycle?
I think for the bear cycle was it 70. So you had it
Yeah,
on
the average bear cycle pullback is about 70 to 75%. Yeah, you got that on there too. Is that what you're going to do?
Yes. So if we there you go, 74.98, right? So almost 75. So that's why this one gets in the way. So 75, let's go all the way here. So it doesn't seem to be so bad of a drawdown, right? I mean, of course, if we're talking about 200 to 51K, that is very, very far away. But if we consider going all the way up to 205, the 75% drawdown, let's just do for 74, there we go, will be at 52K percent going down. So strap on, because if we go down by the 70%, as per these calculations, we could be going to somewhere between 51,800 to, and let's just calculate this one other, to 34, 596.
That would be painful.
That's what I got. Yeah,
that would be painful.
It absolutely will be.
That number is very interesting, by the way, that you had there, because I actually have a chart that I talk about that. I'll keep you on here with me. Come on back on here with me, OC. There we go. There's OC. I actually talked about this in a video recently, because if we take a look at the cycles here, every cycle pulling trend-based fibs, shout out to Magic Internet Money for this knowledge. Every single, if you pull lows to highs, right? So, like low of the previous cycle to the high of that cycle to the low, that gives you this projection for the next cycle. If you look at these, we typically top out in these golden pockets. I did a whole video on this. It was $108,000 the top. The reason that I had that conversation is historically the golden pocket has been, in line with where our tops were that we just hit here. And I'll bring that into focus so you can see it. Let me get rid of that and bring this down a little bit. And you'll see we tapped that 0.618 again, right? And now we've seen downside ever since. But there was one cycle here, OC, that we had a break above the top line, that 0.66 there. We broke above that by about 75% to the upside past it. And that if we saw that again with institutional buy-in, regulatory policy changes, all that good stuff, and we bring that up 75% from that top line, that 0.66, that puts it at about $205,000 to $206,000. So pretty interesting what you're seeing there on your speculation based on the S&P tech sector speculation. If the tech sector speculation is 21.1% in 2025, in comparison to 2024 is 20.1, and that difference puts Bitcoin at around $205,000 on your chart. That would be in line with what we saw happen in 2016 with Bitcoin's price above these trend levels. So trend-based fib levels. So pretty spot on numbers there. Correlation is pretty solid there, man. That's good math there. I hope you guys got something out of that. Here's my concern about DCA. My only concern about DCA is not about that we've got downside coming. That's when you DCA, in my opinion, right? My concern about continuing to DCA, or people that are concerned about DCA, and is this: if they don't dollar cost average because they're waiting for these massive lower numbers, right? First off, we talked on that daily, you may not hit those lower numbers, right? That $77,000 CME gap may not get filled until 2026, 2027, right? Because just like we saw in 2021, where we had one about this same time period that formed on the charts, we didn't see it get filled until going into the crypto winter after the top was in. We're not going to see the top. We shouldn't see the top until quarter 3, quarter 4 of 2025. That would be 2026 when we would actually fill that CME gap. which would be a high possibility, right? So we may never get down to that level. So people that aren't dollar cost averaging on their Bitcoin, I understand dollar cost averaging on alts right now if you've done a lot of dollar cost averaging on Bitcoin, but I don't think it's ever a bad idea to keep your eye on Bitcoin all the time. Always keep your eye on Bitcoin, and then, spot check those alts to the left and right. Tune into your favorite YouTube channel, Piper Academy of 5 shows daily, and find out what altcoins are also moving. Crypto Nightcap, they call out some bangers all the time. Trade Intuition calls out bangers all the time. Lunar Beaches calls out bangers. Like, our team is always looking at some altcoins, but I don't think you should ever take your eye off of Bitcoin, in my opinion. But here's my concern about the dollar cost average not being your strategy, and you're waiting for those big lows. Guys, we might not ever see the 70 to 75% pullbacks in crypto winters again. We've seen that every time we start to get harsh pullbacks, institutional money is grabbing it up. They're grabbing every single penny they can get their hands on, and so the buying pressure is much greater than the selling pressure at certain points. The lower that it goes, the more the selling pressure increases. There's the threshold gets shorter and shorter before the institutions grab it. So we could have a scenario where in 2025, 2026, I should say, not 2025, 2026, where we're going into the bear market, that you get a lot of people that are like, I'm just going to wait. I'm waiting for this bottom level here, 75%, 70%. I'm going to cut it short and go 65%. We may never get to that 65%. And then you see it come down and you're like, it's a sucker's rally. It's a sucker's rally. It's bouncing up here. It's going to come back down to my level. We always do this, but the institutional money may not ever let it get there, and then people miss out. So I do think that dollar cost averaging strategy is always going to be best. I think that you can dollar cost average into some altcoins to get that exposure if you haven't done a lot of altcoin DCAing. But I think that at the end of the day, DCA on Bitcoin should always be your first one. And then the alts. Yeah, exactly. 99% of everything follows Bitcoin. There you go, Dave Brumbelow. Keep your eye on the Bitcoin ball. Keep your eye on the big orange ball, kids. That would be my guidance there. I do think I have another thing that I was going to pull up here on X that's just right in line with what we were talking about here for the institutional money that's buying in. Where's it at here? Let me see this. No, I guess I don't. It was how the 4.7% that of all the Bitcoin being bought up by MicroStrategy and BlackRock. I mean, guys, they're buying the Bitcoin. But let's talk about some true Bitcoin potential here. We talked about those levels of we talked about those levels that we could be seeing on Bitcoin, but Titan of crypto. Let's jump over here, OC, and we'll show this because I think you broke this down a lot better than he does. So let's look here. He says Bitcoin, $110,000 is inevitable. That's what he says here. Bitcoin remains on the path that he shared months ago, now in the correction phase. If it were to drop further, $87,000 could be the maximum pain level before the next level up. Remember, markets never move in a straight line. He's got a nice cup and handle here, and he's targeting 110,000. We're going to jump over to your chart, OC, and take a look at that. But I do want to show this heat map here because looking at the 1 week right now, we've got a level that's coming in on here at $100,000 on the weekly heat map. Okay. If we put this on and look at the monthlies and stuff though, there are some levels down here about $73,000 down here that are quite a bit of money. But you see this one line here? That one is running $123,000. There is a lot of heat up there at $123,000 Bitcoin. That's higher than 110 on his cup and handle. OC, let's jump over to your chart and let's talk about what you're seeing on that cup and handle pattern.
Absolutely. So there we go. I got right here a little bit of the ideas that we have shared, and I want you guys to take a look at the dating here. So this was May the 13th, 2024, right? So we were talking about that copper candle. Let's just click on it and let's figure things out, right? At that point, remember that we were in a downwards movement here, and we will needed to adjust this little breakout, right? for the next high and next low. Nonetheless, we were measuring this area right here, and it was a 76% drawdown, right? So at this point, basically, we just were looking and analyzing how to predict it, how much will it be going downwards. Let's just see how it played out. Let's see, perfect. Seems like we did win lower here. And if we compare it to his picture, well, then he made a bigger handle in here, which is, I mean, it's to be expected, right? And then after that, big pumped, and then all the way up here. Could we maybe be getting higher than this point? Well, we have seen that. Remember, guys, that this is a multi-factor here. Also, something important to point out, it is where we are on our oscillator. Our oscillator, we already have a double bottom pattern here, and we are trying to push through the zero line, which could be making a big pump. And look at that, that actually played out as that big pump. Let's just go back and see where we are located at this point. This is the daily. So let me just close this up. Let's go to a daily, and of course, let's go to Bitcoin. Give me just 1 second. I got it right here. And here we got the huge cup in handle, right? As you can see, I also updated my cup in handle. We did it together here, and this is because of the range and also the median. Once we start being or hovering above the median here and not falling below it, that was the indication that we were expecting or we were waiting for to prepare for the breakout. Did we broke out? Absolutely we did. And then we can just basically go ahead and measure this one up here. So remember, once again, as I told you guys, this is multi-factor. Something that we also need to consider, it is the previous math that we did. This is a 117 for me. A little more, a little less, right? But that will depend on how we come back from this oscillator. At this point, we're going down on the ribbon, which is not bad. We're seeing reflected that retracement. But look at money flow. Money flow, it is green and pushing. So I would say that we could be having a double bottom cluster, something like that, and then push with strength to start pushing or going through those targets. Once again, the multi-factor will be key, and I'll be waiting somewhere around 180-ish, more to what I'm speculating here. So if you want to have an average prediction, just do, for example, I don't know, 188 minus 117, and you'll have your first target right there for the next year, for the upcoming next year. But other than that, remember, trade it by the day.
That's it. That's it. At the end of the day, DCA is still the way, in my opinion. I will be looking at Q1, as I've said numerous times. Q1 is when I will begin to take my profits. I do think that there is a possibility that we get into January 20th when we start to get the regulatory movement coming in, clarity and all that. There'll be a lot of hype in the markets and a lot more institutional adoption. So we could see that Q1 push in. But I am thinking that seeing that push in Q1 is a good time to start taking some profits. No one's ever gone broke taking profits. And then as we go into, crypto's waiting on January 20th. Andy S just said it. There you go. Gensler out, Trump's in. So that's what I'm going to do is Q1, I'll start taking my profits. And then if we do continue on, I can always get back in, guys. Always. You can always buy back in if the trend continues, but you cannot go back in time and take your profits when you wish you did. So Q1, I'll be starting to take profits. And then monthly, I'll just assess how much I'm going to pull out or go back in with. That will be my play for 2021. But don't forget, guys, January 1st, some new tax reporting, crypto reporting tax laws are changing. There is a chance that regulation stuff that comes out on January with President Trump taking over January 20th could cause that to be rescinded. It may not take place, but there are some new reporting changes that has to do with like first in, first out and stuff like that. So decrypted.tax, guys, link down in the description below. Make sure you check with Ernest. I'm actually going to be doing a video with with him this weekend, talking about the implications of the new tax policies and why it's different, how it can touch you in bad places. How about that? So we are going to have that video coming out next week. Make sure you check that out. But yeah, give Ernest a call and talk to him before it's too late with tax season coming up. So OC, is there anything that you wanted to show on altcoins, or was that pretty much it today? I just wanted to really drive in on what we could see in 2025 with the next year coming up. But dollar cost averaging seems to be the answer to the solution to the problem. You got any altcoins you wanted to look at before we head out of here?
Absolutely, just Bitcoin. Sorry, just BNB. BNB looks like it needs a retracement. Let's just be a little bit careful on that one. Other than that, I think that we could be going back in as we go into some supports. Let me have it right here. I don't think that we're showing my screen. Are we? Oh, there we go. So this is basically what I'm looking at. This trend line dynamic reactor. We are having a flip of the ribbon here. We have a bearish divergence. I'm expecting to, if we break the previous week low, my next target is going to be my dynamic reactor and trend line, somewhere around, let's just see, it's 547. I think that will be a great point to start going back into the trade. And then look at that, we'll also have a soft order block to start slowing down that momentum as we go lower. I will only be jumping in as I have flip of the ribbon either on the zero line or all the way at the bottom, but I want to have that flip of the ribbon at support, and where that support is pointing out somewhere around this area right here. Once again, 544-ish areas. But other than that, I'm just keeping an eye on the classic Link, OM, LTC, Atom, what else? Cardano, so on and so forth, AVAX. But other than that, just kind of like keeping it cool, waiting for Christmas to go by, and then we get back in track to wait for the market to reveal its hand.
Awesome. Yeah, some good comments here from in the chat. Shout out to Alexander G for dropping that decrypted.tax link there. I appreciate you on that. And then Retro Mike Tech said the new tax laws will make people start to use the crypto the way it was intended to be used and actually understand what UTXO is. So I'm going to reference that question, or that statement, I mean, when I talked to Ernest this weekend and do that video. But then Andy S said, funny how the past 3 years, Warren and company, talking about Pocahontas, said crypto was bad, but the IRS still collected taxes, and now they changed the rules. They recognize it as being legal in some way. Yep, absolutely, bro. Shout out to you on that one. That is spot on. OC, I appreciate you being here today, man. I hope I didn't work your brain too much on some of that math that I had you do in the background. But yeah, we definitely are looking at 2025 being an interesting year. We do have some speculation that the top was $108,000 based on cycle tops of the fib. I know that doesn't fit the 3-year the 4-year cycle of quarter 4, but it's also a 4-year cycle trend, right? So, which one is correct, we'll have to wait and see. But as of right now, DCA is the way, man. You got anything for people on the way out, OC, before we head out of here?
Absolutely, guys. Just enjoy whatever is left out of Christmas, out of your vacations, and make the most out of your family. And of course, just remember that the key of winning, it's not losing. If you don't know what that means, you need to come more into the Piper Academy. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and turning it back to you, Piper.
Awesome. Appreciate you, brother. All right, guys. We appreciate everyone joining us here today on the Piper Academy Network. This has been the Morning Market Report. We're going to be back here Monday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, doing all the same thing all over again. Don't forget to tune in this afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern Time with T.I. Joe, Trade Intuition, going to be in Trade Academy, showing you guys what he's looking at on charts. And then Sunday night, we'll kick it all off again with the Asian Market Open. Lunar Beaches on Mad, Markets After Dark, and then Monday, all 5 shows live right here on the Piper Academy Network. Guys, thanks for joining us here. We'll catch you guys on Monday. You guys trade safe. Use some risk management, and enjoy your family this weekend, guys. Shout out to everybody. We'll catch you guys Monday morning. Later. I don't know what they keep telling me. I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Real
keep on rolling out the wheels flow low. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. Trade flag at the soul, train ready. What a line from OCI, from a Mexican spaghetti, yo. Crux crypto with a deep dive to project dime. And if you like the visual powered by Tar Prime, then you were part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have step, fall back to offline.
Boom shakalaka!
We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling out the wheels flow low. Sound off.
To get rhythm, the ZTS rhythm. Rip it, Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean?
That was awesome, dude.